You're listening to Ozzy's Radio Half Hour. Here is your host, Ozzy. Welcome one and all to Ozzy's Radio Half Hour. Yet again, that was our intro by The Offspring with Change the World. My. Are we going to change the world or what? So tonight is the 24th of May 2022. This is a special edition broadcast of Ozzy's Radio Half Hour. So this is the Australia Decides election results. I wouldn't say it's very exciting, but look, I'm more of the type to say no suitable candidate, and that's what I did. I went to the polling booths. I pretty much just jostled my way past through the scumbags, through the scum, through all the pond scum that were handing me. I didn't even accept any of their stupid flyers. I went in there with an outline permanent marker and pretty much just crossed every box out, every title out, every name out, including the freedom parties, which I do love to call them the free dumb parties for a very good purpose, because they are just dumb. Look, it's good to get some independence in. Yeah, I get that. It's good to get new people in. I get that. But if you look at these people, who they work for, a lot of them are controlled opposition. You've got Clive Palmer, Craig Kelly, Morgan C. Jonas, Pauline Hanson. The list goes on. They're all just controlled opposition. They, from what I've looked into, from what other people have done research on, and I have, even myself have somewhat verified it. It wouldn't surprise me. I think that a lot of information has been redacted as well. So there was some thing saying, there was a news report saying that Clive Palmer was involved with the UN and the Agenda 2030. He was on the Agenda 2030 Council or some foreign relations council, and I'm not sure if that can be verified, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if these freedom parties are just a way that they can get their head on TV or on a radio show, on a radio program, 3AW. I think Neil Mitchell had Morgan C. Jonas on his program a couple of times. And it's all just a wrestling match. All it is, you hear about these radio shows that they get interviewed and they're all belting each other on there. Basically, they're just beating the shit out of each other. So that's all it is. That's all politics is. It's world wrestling. It's a circus, and yeah, in 5 years I've pretty much forgotten how to vote. I almost put the wrong voting card in the wrong bin, and then I had all these voting officials there with stupid masks on saying, "Oh, you can't put it in this bin." I said, "Mate, I'll put it in any bin I bloody well want." I said, "I didn't care. It's a dummy vote anyway. It's a dummy spit vote. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, don't touch it." I said to him, "Mate, what is it? What has it got on it? COVID or something? Con job." So I probably shouldn't be saying that either. I just said, the C word, but maybe I'll blank it out. Hopefully I don't get a thing on it for not good information kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, so it has been an interesting week. Like the election. The election is just basically a smokescreen. Every time that there is an election, they think everyone has it's a choice that is not. It's an illusion of choice. Anyway, I thought I would do some announcements just now while I've got the chance. I know that was the intro, and that's what I'm going to be speaking to you about today. But I've got some event announcements that I'd like to share with you. So on this Friday at around 5 o'clock, so Friday the 27th of May, there will be a few of us heading to the Young and Jackson pub across the road from Flinders Street Station, around 5 o'clock. I'll be there with a good friend of mine, and PK is actually organising it. So if you're in the area or around there, come and have a drink, come say hi. I'll be there. Ken Rotman said he'll be coming. Mad Pieman. I don't know if there's any other people there. There might even be a few other people that are in the Melbourne Truth community that will be hopefully showing up for a meet and greet. And they usually, what usually happens is that PK used to run these meet and greets. I think it was probably 2 years ago, before all this con job situation went down, just to discuss current world events and false flags and how to interpret the news and what they're really trying to say, because it's all lies. It's all just satanic rituals they show us. That's all it is. That's all television is. It's just a screen of satanic ritualism thrown at us. So but it should be a good night. So come along, have a couple of drinks, and that's all. That's all the events for this week. Look, not much has been happening really. Like we're just sitting and waiting. So you've got ScoMo out and Elbow in. So what does that mean for Australia? Number one, the election needed a writ from the Governor General and assented by the Queen or signed off through the Queen. None of that has happened. So a lot of this is illegitimate. So all our elections, maybe since the 70s, have been illegitimate when Gough Whitlam was sacked by the Queen and Governor General or whatever happened there. So I'm not going to go into detail on what has happened because I'll be here for another 24 hours trying to explain it to you and then some. But there is a lot of talks of the elections being fixed. There is no point in voting, although what has struck me too is that a lot of the so-called freedom parties have won seats in the Senate, but on the television broadcast they didn't really want to divulge that information, and they only said that Labor and Liberal had 1 or 2 seats or something for the Senate, and the Greens had 1 for the Senate as well, but they didn't shine any light on the independents, new parties, One Nation or anything like that. And One Nation's been there for 25 years, you know. And to be quite honest, Pauline, if you're going to do something, you're going to have to do something now. Pull your finger out or do something, right? This is what I mean by controlled opposition, right? I'm going to stick it to Pauline first up, because she's the very one that's saying, "Oh, vote for me," right? But you're not doing your job, Pauline. You're writing stupid South Park inspired cartoons, which are good. I find them funny, but they're entertaining. But that's all it is. It's just entertainment for the dumb masses. That's all it is. It's to keep us in a state of stupidity. While you expose a few things. Yeah, you subtly expose the corruption. Yes, you do. We all know that. You've been doing it for the last 25 years, but pull something new out of the rabbit hat. Pull a different rabbit out of the hat. The trucking blockades. What happened when she was on Channel 9 and she totally caved with the trucking blockades? It was supposed to be the biggest trucking blockade since Razorback in 1979. And that wasn't just Razorback. I can tell you right now, if you know your history, Razorback happened, on the Hume Highway or something around Sydney. I think it was south of Sydney or something. It happened then. It happened also in Melbourne. It happened even where I'm from, in Melton. It happened everywhere. I think Dandenong had also had their highways clogged. Somerton, Hume Highway, everywhere. And this was back in the 70s, right? I think we had more testosterone. I think blokes had more testosterone in the 70s. They had more balls, they had more fight, they had more spirit, and they didn't have any fear of police or fear of reprimand or going to jail. Or because there's so many. If you were to park your car in the middle of the road, right, and if a police was to see that, they would get you. You could go to jail for it if it was that bad, blocking traffic, right? Same with if you do it with a truck, you could probably get a few years in jail. And but going back to this thing, right? It was like a publicity stunt. Like she was encouraging, do the truck blockade, right? But then people forget easy, right? This is how stupid people are. She was on the Today Show, and you can watch this too, right? All you have to do is look up, the Today Show, Pauline Hanson truck blockade in YouTube. It should still be there. She specifically says to the truck driver, oh, we'll be here for 5 minutes or whatever, or she says to the Today Show, we'll be here as long as we can, and then someone taps her on the shoulder and says, Pauline, or I think it was one of her minders or carers or whatever, right? Says to her, oh, Pauline, you need to shut this thing down, because because they were asking her, I think Carl Stefanodic was asking her questions. Oh, are you gonna be stopping people from going to work? You're going to be running late for work. This is in Brisbane, right, on the motorway there. And she's like, no, I don't care. This has got to be done. And then all of a sudden she gets a tap from on her shoulder saying she has to, she can do it for 5 minutes, block the road, but these trucks have got to move, right? And literally within 2 minutes, these trucks, they were about to park, right? They had cars behind them and all that. And within a matter of minutes, they were moved. They were, and Pauline's like, oh, but we're going to move to another location. Yeah, right. Nothing happened, Trucking blockades were better up in Canada and the USA, but even those blockades, nothing happened. People just honked their horns and done a few things, and they had fuel shortages, and we had AdBlue shortages apparently, and apparently people saying you can make out AdBlue out of your own urea. It's piss. That's all it is. It's urine. So what are we all worried about? It was all bullshit from the start. That's my rant over with Pauline and anyone else that's involved with these other freedom parties. Look, good on you for trying, but I don't think you've tried hard enough. But and your controlled opposition. That's all I have to say about that. Like, it's like with that song that I done for the intro. If you want to change the world, you got to, some don't lie, some don't lie. You have to tell the truth. And there's I think what is going on right now, I think they have to somehow allow more shit to go bad, so that they can bring in I think they want, like, if anyone has heard of the UN plan, I think they had the United Nations pandemic treaty. I'm not going to say the word because I might get, the algorithm might get me. But the treaty, the UN treaty, does concern me as well. And look, the people in the Senate can do whatever they want. The freedom parties and One Nation in the Senate can do whatever they want. Ricardo Bossi can do the same thing as well. Apparently, I think he won a seat in Sydney, whatever, Bennelong or whatever, I don't know. And a few other people are in the same position to help out with bringing these arseholes down. But who knows? We're yet to see any change. So it's probably so that we're still waiting for the other NPC robots to wake up too, and that's going to be a tough one. I think the best person, I wouldn't say the best man, is that's doing this. So I don't want to be calling him a person because the person is legal fiction. Best man that's doing it so far, I'd say, would be PK. That's if you watch his video, that was a couple of days ago that he done. I think it was before the election. I think it was like the last day of the voting. I think it was over the weekend on Saturday. I think it was Saturday, late evening Saturday. He went to vote at his local voting place with a a friend of his, and he was absolutely going nuts. He was on fire. You know, the best solution for this is everyone to be starting to spread the word. I do it all the time. Probably not all the time. If I feel that I'm in a good mood, I'll go talk to people and say to them, you know, this is Build Back Better. You know, there's no eggs at Coles. You know, you talk to someone that's looking at the eggs and they're looking, you know, all the toilet paper's gone, and say, mate, I bought all the toilet paper. Build Back Better. You want to vote for Biden or Labor? That's what you're going to get. You're going to get no toilet paper. You got to remind them that, you know, it's just subtly, you know. Even play a bit of Alex Jones. You know, I play a bit of Alex Jones over over the CB radio repeater here. You know, and they often switch me off. I get that, but you have to plant that seed. Otherwise, we're not gonna make any ground. And yeah, you know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, go out in the bush, into communities, grow your own garden." There's a lot of people that cannot do that. I'm not in that position. Although I may be forced into that position to sell up and buy a van, but I'm not gonna. I don't like the idea of. I like the idea of freedom, but I like the idea of staying in one place too. You know. And defending myself, defending my property and my rights. I think we've a lot of us in the cities and the suburbs are quite vulnerable to what's going to happen, and I think the ones that are moving out in the bush are probably running away from the problem. They're not facing it head on. So, look. I'm not saying it's a good idea to do either both things, but spare a thought for the people that are doing it tough. They've probably got a mortgage, or they've lost their job, and they've got a bit of savings, but they're eating into it, you know, and things aren't going to be good forever. So just think about that for a second. Also. While I've got you here, the jobs market, a lot of employers are begging. I've seen a lot of, not begging, but I've seen a lot of employers crying out for workers, mechanical engineers, plumbers, electricians, tradesmen, carpenters, builders, engineers, mechanics, tyre fitters, diesel mechanics. Every trade under the sun has a shortage. Why is that? Because of these mandates that happened last year in October, right? None of these elected idiots, MPs, whoever you want to call them, and PK hits the nail on the head when he was at the voting booth. He was saying that he was trying to talk to someone, one of the people there handing out flyers, and he was asking them some tough questions, and about people not being able to see their loved ones, the elderly that are still locked in their what I like to call new age prisons, which is the retirement villages. Retirement homes, and even people that have been locked out of work. He asked that to this guy. What about the people that can't work because of the vax mandates and can't see their elderly because of these vax mandates? What are you doing about that? He just walked off. He said that's your opinion, and he walked off. He didn't want to say any more, and that is. To me, the epitome of a backstabber, a snake. He literally just turned his back on his fellow man. Look, PK is a bit out there. but he's exposed a lot of stuff. He's exposed the Boston bombings. He's exposed Burke Street. You know, this guy isn't a Johnny on the spot. You know, he's, you know, so there might be some things that I might disagree with him, or, you know, there was a time where he, you know, he was at the doctor's surgery, and Morgan C. Jonas was there at the same time, and he was interviewing, happened to be interviewing the same doctor, but, you know, maybe it was coincidence, who knows, but the guy has done some great stuff, is what I'm saying. And if you are free this Friday, it'd be good for you to come out, and we'll have a few drinks. You know, it's I haven't been to the pub properly in you know, a couple of years, or even at least a few years. You know, I don't really like to go out that much, but I do like to meet good people, and it has been a long time since I've met some genuine people. I've met a few good truthers over the past couple of years, but a lot of them, and I will say a lot of them, are still brainwashed. They're still they still don't really know what's going on, and it's sad. I have to, you know, part ways with a lot of them because they don't share my values, and a lot of them are still either stuck with you know, worn out religious beliefs and worn out political beliefs. I don't believe in neither is our saviour. Our saviour is ourselves. We have to look inward and save ourselves before we help out anyone else. We have to do some soul searching and reflecting. You know, we have to contemplate, reflect, and meditate. I think I contemplate and reflect more than I meditate, but a lot of people get caught up in the idea of just meditation. You've got to do kind of a mixture of everything, and you know, have a look at Mark Passio's work. I think I bang on about him a lot, but he's good. Dale H seems to copy a lot of his stuff. I have been listening to a lot of Jeff Berwick. You know, I think PK's probably going to scream at me if I said Max Igan is good for some information as well. Although he and Jeff Berwick are a little bit controlled opposition, but they are good with the info sometimes. I must admit, you know, I think Jeff Berwick and Max Igan secretly, I think they are controlled opposition, but they do give good info. I must admit, sometimes. So, yeah. Well, where do we go from here? Well, you know, resist. The 3 R's. Resist. Resist as much as you can. Say no. I think they're going to, I know that they're going to start bringing, there's a new variant, monkeypox or whatever, and you got MAR Berg. I'm not going to say it. I might get, you know, that might be coming after. Look, these things are like, problem is, the general population are just going to see it as it's already been touted as a mutation of the cough, you know, but whether that be a real thing that has been released, we don't know, right? But look, I'm pretty much 40 kilos overweight, just about. I'm obese, you know. I'm still able to walk around and do whatever, you know, but I'm been lacking a lot of energy lately, but mainly because of what's been going on. But I'm not at a point where I'm not in my immune system is shot. I've got a pretty good immune system. if I was gonna, like, I think I probably should have been dead by now if something that bad was going to kill me. If a cold virus was going to kill me. And it hasn't. I haven't been able. I live on my own. I don't go out much. So what am I supposed to be afraid of? And that's another thing. Don't be afraid. That's the worst thing you can do, is to be afraid. And I don't. I get sometimes pent up, like always we do. But try not to be afraid, and think that a lot of people are going through the same motions as you. I try and keep that into perspective. I am currently reading Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. I suggest you do the same. There is Mark Passio. You can buy a hard drive and send it to him. He'll put, I think if you send him a 2 terabyte, it's got to be 2 terabyte and over, I think. If you send him a hard drive with 2 terabyte and or over to the USA, I think you pay him, I don't know, I'm not sure how much you pay him, but go check his webpage. It'll tell you the details. I recently, because I've been going through a bit of a struggle with money, I was able to have a friend who purchased it from him, give me a copy. And there is so much information on there. There is a wealth of information that we haven't yet seen before. There's a lot of videos on there that are probably banned on a lot of major platforms. There are numerous plans for free energy. We shouldn't even be using gasoline engines. There are copious amounts of alternative energy that we are yet to see, and a lot of these false flag attacks are pretty much, the deep state cabal, whatever you want to call them, ruining any of our chances of defeating them. Are we going to defeat them? Well, who knows? I'm not looking into I don't have a crystal ball or anything. I just hope that we're somewhat spared of what's really going to happen, but I highly doubt it. I just don't want to be getting a knock on the door and having to go to one of these detainment facilities for not adhering to any false medical paradigms. And I'm going to say this again: I'm not offering any financial or medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trained in any of these professions, but I do like to read a lot. And for the last 2 years, I've probably read a lot more than most educated. So, on that note, this is Ozzy signing off. I have gone a bit over time, but that's fine. Like and subscribe, and donate to my Patreon. I've also set up an Odyssey account. I think you can donate library tokens there, so I encourage you, if you've got an extra $1 or $2, it's just think of it as a cup of coffee. Like, I'm not asking for much. It'd be nice to get some donations at least, to help pay for things. So on that note, enjoy your evening, and good luck, goodbye, and we'll see you next month on the Ozzy's Radio half hour show. Thank you.